Welcome back to Nightingale's Motorcycles, Restorers and Metal Finishers. Good one for you today. Reviewing a Tenaci Wong. Now, it's in the workshop. It's a 2023, unused, apart from us having a little play on it, and a couple of other people in the past, but it was put away about a year and a half ago in a custom-made collection. He actually bought one of these off me, my own, which I'll tell you about in a minute, which I then sold to him in 2021. So I had it a couple of years, and then I went on to building this one for him, TLR 200, several years ago, and he put that in his man cave, and as you've seen, it's up for sale now. That's unused, that's not even running. So we'll get in the workshop and have a look at this Tenaci Wong. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, or you're not into trials bikes, you're into, or off-road bikes, or you're into road bikes mainly, you probably have never heard of one of these. Now, I'll go through it again. It's made in China, it's fuel injected, no kickstart, electric start, monoshock, electronic ignition, and it's got all the gubbins on it, and it looks like a modern copy of our bikes we see in the trials field today, all the top brands. So this video is going to go on a little bit because I've got so much to say in one way, and the reason it's coming, as I say, it's a custom man. It is for sale, I'll tell you how much. And remember how much these things are to start with, and always were, against the run-of-the-mill competition machines, which are all fantastic. And the idea of the video was to give it from a restorer's point of view, because again I do a lot with Hondas and Honda TLR 200s in the twin shock field. So when you come into this side of, obviously this is a monoshock, but it's going to fit, a little bit about it, a little bit of a review. I'm bringing Steve Kirkwood in, local rider, been in bikes many years and competes all the time. Just to have a slow go on it, round a few trees, because we're trying to, there's no point coming back to the point of, you've all seen the videos of some younger guys, you know, kickers in and going up 3 metre slabs or whatever with 2 Lake District mountaineers catchers at the top and everyone applauding. But them kind of guys will always do that. If you give them a fridge and put wheels on it, they'll still jump that. So we're trying to get kind of the build, a bit about it, still about them, a bit of a review, a very short video, because all the stuff is, you get on a bike like one of these Hondas, and I might show you a video again of one I put together with a few bits for a customer later on, is we know in the first 3 or 4 metres, so we're looking for tuck, twist and all the rest of it, low down and then clean off the throttle. The man who's going to buy this bike, I think, would be nowhere near that. It was built for like the clubman type. I'll ask Steve on that later on. A guy who maybe wants to get into bikes and not mechanically minded as much, because he wants reliability, and generally a bike just to ride, get on and ride, and he ain't bothered about competition or doing anything. So we'll move on to the next bit with it. So I think in the time when I had mine, it was bought as a present in 2019 for my birthday, unknown to me. Now at the time I had a new Repsol 4RT, a couple of British trials irons, and like most of these guys who may buy this bike have got that kind of machinery, and they're just after something at the right price maybe. And I've been going on about it saying 2018, not even seen one, not been anywhere near, but read all the reviews, and it wasn't the reviews I was after for me as a restorer. If you look here, look at this billeted arm, and you look at the rims, but I'd never touched one, but if you get close up there, and you see stuff, and then when it arrived, you know, I was looking at things like the fork yokes, see what quality are, the stanchions, the brakes. Obviously them kind of brakes, disc brakes wouldn't be for me, but just in general, a build quality, because remember I do take the mick out of some Chinese parts. So that was in 2019. I kept the bike for 2 years, and it was in the workshop here, and I rode it a lot, and just as enjoyment, fun at a local trials club. That's all I'm interested in. But at the same time, just getting to see what it was like. And through that period of time, I must have let, I can't remember how many people have a go on it. And this will be quite funny, because the people who were trying to have sold these, trying to sell them, still selling them, will actually be in the same position. I think they'll know where I'm coming from, because it's been a bit of an unknown machine. So we'll move on to the next bit, which I think in a marketing point of view, all the work that goes into marketing any new machine. Hang on a minute, we've got a rodent in a pink coat coming. How's that? 15-year-old. What are you doing? Behave. Right. So anyone who puts all the money in and energy to marketing these things, I don't think it, because it wasn't really, I don't know how it came to this market, because you see them going to Asia, Australia, India, Japan. If you'd have taken this is an impression of what I think. If I pulled up at my local club with this and just sat in the back of the van and let them surround it like they do, and I took Tenaci Wong off it and off here and put, let's just say, a bike which it can look a little bit similarish in some ways. If I put Gasser or, you know, Expert 4-stroke on it, and you thought it was a bike of that field, you'd be wetting your pants. You know, you'd be touching it, you want to go, and you're dying to have a go on it, and your expression would change because it's a brand. So when it's got Tenaci Wong on it, after you've got over all the jokes, and kind of stands round it and wants to have a go on it, you feel you're in a position, and I still am, because I'm still doing it now, and it's not my bike, I've got it for sale, because he's just asked me to sell it. But it's just that, being a builder in trials bikes, marketing kind of, when you see modern marketing, because let's face it, you go and pick your new bike up, and you know, the next year one's already stood behind it in a box, ready to be put in the showroom. So we're kind of looking build quality, who would buy it, what I thought of it then, what I did to it, and remember from 19 in this field of competition, if you want to class it as competition, but off-road competition, machine, what's been done from 19, in my opinion, to 23. That's why I've asked Steve Kirkwood to come in. I want it to just be neutral. He'll get on it. If he says it's like horrendous, I'll put my views on it. We're not road testers and we're not the bike reviewers. It's a bit oddball. We're not trying to sell these bikes. Though at one point I did have a quick flash in my mind that when I'd actually bought it and looked at the build quality, that I thought, bloody hell, there probably is in market for them, but it's not as easy as that, as you know. And for the guys out there with bike shops from 200 grand, 500 grand, or £1 million worth of stock, and an after sales business, you know, parts department, and the structure of the workshop, they deserve every penny they get for selling any motorcycle. So even if the man who's selling these from home, a garage like me, a workshop, for putting the handlebars on or PDI in it, for the bits they all get out of bikes nowadays, I take my hat off to them, because it's bloody hard work for them, you know, it really is. And still trying to be nice to every customer when unfortunately things do go wrong with branded machines, you know. So I'll tell you what I did to it and found. So when I first got it, you know, I was looking at the stanchions and everything, just on the build quality, and I think, if I'm right here, I think these were on 40, which is quite a sturdy forklift. Now if you come round here into the front of the shop, little scorper here, they're on the same leg, where usually we're on a 35. So I was looking for billets really to see, you know, because the prices are spares for these things. And we'll move further on in the video for certain people, because having years of kickstarts on motorcycles, you can't help it, because no matter what you do as a trials bike, and you leave them for months like this, and they do that, you know, you just do it every time, don't you? It really is crazy, but good fun, especially again if you're knocking on a bit, and that leg, are you sick of dropping bikes and they don't seem to start again? But yeah, so the fork stanchions were good, the yokes were good, and we've got, I think we've got some over here. We've got some of my triple clamps I've been on with, you know. So I'm trying to look, so you kind of get the grips of this video now, that, you know, I'm comparing stuff and quality, also quality of the aluminium, you know. But remember, deep down I'm looking, because it resembles any of these Liffen engines or any other engines put in here, and when people look shy when they get interviewed about these, yes, Liffen or another major Chinese manufacturer, which they make bloody loads of engines. And the joke is as well is, I've had some of these engines with like a road bike, because they say, is it a road bike engine? Well, you know. I've had them in with 13,000 mile on them, where people wouldn't touch them. And do you know what, they've been fantastic. Mine run for 2 years, and though I say I only did many hours, not many hours on it, but time everyone else had a go on it, it had probably been to the moon and back. Again, and I'll go through that while kind of justifying myself with it. And so yeah, so as I said, that I had one 2019, 2 years on, in the workshop. Then that customer bought that off me. He swapped it for that Wong, and in between I was building that. And he probably has, by the way, 7 or 8 off-road motorcycles in and out building, and he probably has, from Ducati, Panigales and other things, he'll probably have £200,000 worth of motorcycles. So he's not just, you know, he's not just a random kind of guy, but he does it for fun. He goes to his local trials club just to have a laugh and fun. And that's what it's all about as well. So, right, so we'll go back. So when I got it and went out for a ride on it around here, around the trials circuit at the back of the workshops, the first thing I felt, this is only my opinion, would be, because I had access to some tyres in the workshop, I changed the tyres on it, because I felt they were a bit rigid. The back end, the shock absorber, well, we're going again on, you know, spending money like on your twin shocks. You've got to accept that there's probably going to be a bit of, you know, swapping, or if you're really into it, or just finding it to fit you. I did find it was a little bit, compared to my TLRs, how we alter them, on the feet, just seemed to be a little bit, for me, more forward. The steering, the brakes on it, but the engine, you know, because let's face it, for at least the last 7 years in here, I've been building TLR engines of all different sources with my heads on, my performance heads, and I'll show you one again in the video we've just fitted on just for a quick second, because I did let Steve have a go on the bike as well, really because he'd come to do a quick test on this, but when I'm playing with enemy Hondas in raw state, said, what, have a tank and seat unit on if you haven't seen the bike. It was a customer's bike what's coming for an head transplant. I'm looking for low down and how it picks up again, so I'll be all over this engine. So it's not going to suit me as such, because you know it's fuel injected towards me carburation bikes, so it's water cooled, you know, unbelievable, water cooled. So I rode it, admired all the bits on it, and my first impression was, when I started it up, it was as if it was off, it was as if it was running weak, right? And I'd read everything in the past before I'd even knew that it was a surprise birthday present. I'd read things, I'd gone on American sites, I'd gone on loads of Wong sites and listening to them. There wasn't much, because you've got to remember as well, when you come to basics, when you've got to stand back at the bike and think, right, sometimes basics is good. So if the fuel injection system is basic, it's probably best, you know, for this type of machine, because the man who buys it isn't going to be remapping it and doing things possibly. It's built for this bike. So I went to the next stage then, that I can honestly say, you know, over the years when yourselves ride bikes, be it big British irons or 2 strokes, 4 strokes, multis, 6s, race bikes or whatever, motocross bikes, and you get off it, and if you're into your bikes, you usually can say it's restricted on exhaust, or it's lacking power, or the gear ratios aren't right in its sprockets, it's got an ignition fault. If it was water cooled, it might be, you know, steaming, if it's burning oil. You've usually got something in your head that you can fix it. It might go on the back burner, but you can fix it. So I did the thing, so I don't want any comments, because everything I did at the time, and if anyone's onto these now, it's not an interest to me, because I think what it is what it is, in my view. So the engine was just like, you start thinking, because I saw some of the sites, when people get, I don't know why they get so involved, you know, is it a 200 engine, is it this, is it that, will the crankcases fit? Well, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, because if it's a new bike like this, and let's face it, you can get spares for these Liffen or whatever engine's in it, usually Liffen I think, you can get spares for them, you can get pads for it, you can get everything for this thing. The yokes you could fit slimmer bars on, you could do out, you can get the sprockets standard, the tyres will go on it. The pads, if not, there's people who can get you one. So there's no worry about this, oh, it's been out, is it going to fail? But I think if I'd gone back to this, the first thing I'd do is I'd think, right, my personal opinion was it was quite twitchy. Now, I'm going to go over it, because what happens is when you say, who's it for? Now, if you say the man who's had a BSA Bantam, which will usually have been fettled with these guys, and Tiger Cubs, or he's had bigger British irons and he's a younger man, and he's come down the lines and bounced from all these things, Villiers, Dots, all the rest of it, and you think, right, it's electric start, you're you know, a bit bad on the knees and whatever, and you're just going for a ride. But with anything, and this is what happens with the carburettor boys, because most of the bikes in front here, when you see some, you know, you get a crowd around you with one of these, and they've kind of got that distant look in their face, because they look at the name first, and then it's as if they're like Nathandrel men looking at you, because they don't really know what to say. So the most majority on carburation. So when you jump on anything, like when I jumped on a, you know, we've all done it, we go to a show, we see a certain gent on a bike, and I've had 2 of them in the past, and you buy a Repsol Montesa, and really you bring it back and you're crap. You've got on something that's state of the art, with a state of the art fuel injection system, which in the world of trials riding, they could just have a bloody on and off switch, because that's how they do it. You know, they're on it or off it. So what it does, the first time you get on anything fuel injected, so someone might get on a Mont or anything, and it gives you that, you've got to have the response to go with the engine. So I think what we've got to get out the window first is, if someone's used to all two strokes, any of the British stuff, and you've even got modern stuff on carburation, you might not have experienced a fuel injected motorcycle of anything, especially on a trials bike, where you tend to wait for the bit of the dip on some of them. So I think that's what the first thing is when someone gets on one of these, or they get on a modern fuel injected mappable bike. I've done it myself, and even when I have had a quick go on this, even when I jump off my bikes what are in the workshop with 300 beta or whatever, or anything in here, bikes are built, and you get back on one, it's a fuel, bang, you're off again. So it's easy to just think it's a bit nippy and it carries on down. The next thing I did, my feeling was, it was never clean on it, no matter what I did. I felt the clutch master cylinder, to me, I never got round to it, but I should have done in here. I could have just whipped another one on. I don't think it was on the plate side, right, because that was smooth. I think it was just that I'm riding it on the clutch a little bit for smoothness, because, you know, slow action throttle, everyone will have been through one of these, different mods, probably flywheels and all the rest of it. They've followed it on. You'll follow the story with them, you'll have been there anyway. So you do all that, and really it's a fuel injected motorcycle, so it's going to take off. It's a modern motorcycle. So the engine itself, after 2 years, couldn't even fault it. I think with the water jacket round it, a little radiator on it on the 4-stroke, it quietens it down anymore, so you don't hear any chains or anything going off. Don't have a kickstart on it, but this comes with a little Optimate charger. I think I changed my battery once at the time for it. And it was my own fault for not charging it up like we do, you know, just leave it there. And it was just a simple plug in and it back on the button. So my impressions at this stage where it's twitchy, what can I do? Now I used to come back, sit in the workshop, and I used to look at it, but every time I looked at it I thought, well, no matter what it is, you can fix it. If it was you know, if we're going down the transmission size, like, you know, when we do the TLRs, we've gotten past that now, where you think first to second, we've got to put different shafts in to close them up. And then when we've moved on, we've felt with different ways and different heads and everything else. We've solved that problem. So you start thinking, is it gearing? Is it sprocket? So you automatically go for, you know, an engine sprocket, a different tooth. And it kept on my mind, like, I didn't know what was wrong with it. I couldn't get in my mind why it didn't suit me or how someone else would feel. And it was in 2 years it went on for. And then all of a sudden I'd come back again. I'd go to a corner at workshop. I'd do this, do that. Completely different from mine did, and I don't think it's any just a little gadget and end at pipe. It actually sounds like it's going to take off a bit, this machine. Everything I try and do on the TLR 200, so that's why I'm bouncing back. So my next stage was with this, before it went a bit sadder for me to what I'm going to do with it, was just try and tame it down a bit, because as you know, like all 4-stroke fuel injection bikes, the tick over's quite high, like these. Some people can't get used to it a bit, but unfortunately you've got to live with it. You can turn them down a tweak, but you might lose it somewhere else. So I've been through sensor and all the little things people say, and it sat in the garage again. And it was annoying because it was such a good looking bike. I've never had any problems. And I believe over the years, people who've rode these bikes, these arms and that, I've never seen anything in bits. I've not heard any stories what you wouldn't hear against any competition bike being thrown against rocks, or a clubman type bike of anything failing. So the next stage I went on to was looking at the top of the throttle body to see if I could do something there. Right, so if you're not asleep at this moment, the story got deeper. So when you look at guys you kind of know of, and this particular guy, he's a good 78-year-old. British irons all his life, modified frames. If you ask him anything on any bloody big iron, he knows it. He's rode trials all his life, and he's just British right the way through, really. So I see him at my local club, and he stood looking at one of these, and I went up to him and I said, "No, it's mine." So he'd be the last man in the world who I thought he'd buy one, no matter what you said. And then what he did, a few months later, he went and bought a 150, one of these. So we gets talking, I'm giving him my problems with it and listen to other people, and as you know, some younger guys in workshops have developed these on and done things, and they've all made a good job of what they've been up to. And we ended up putting a bit of catgut around the top of the throttle body just to bring the cable, just to alter the, like you're going slow action, and it tamed it down a bit. But I couldn't believe that this older guy had kind of even thought about one of these, you know. And he loved it. Fantastic. I think I actually showed if the 150 had a cable on it, but we did discuss that. And so it was in the workshop, as I say, with myself, and then this customer come back in and he bought it. Now I did get to the stage where I'd taken the mudguard off, I'd taken the fuel injection system off, or not the electronics, just the carb, and I'd even put one of my undercarbs to sit in, because I was going to change it, but it was too tight at the time and I've had to alter the float ball. I was going to put it onto carburation. I know you're thinking out there, what the hell are you trying to make a modern bike? But I was so kind of obsessed with this, I felt it was an inferior electronic ignition. I thought, well, if I put it on a known good carburation, I probably got the perfect bike at the time. So I must have taken this off 3 or 4 times looking at it, because it was starting to really bug me. And then I put it back to standard, I give it another tweak, put another plug in it, and the guy come in, my customer, rode it, and he does what he said, he loved it. Then he traded it in for this, so 23. So what we're going to do is, here the start up. I think the new one's got a newer version now. I think it's a water pump. It's probably gone on the electronic water pump. But apart from that, someone can put a guard around there like you do on the 4RT. So I've got Steve Kirkwood coming in any minute now. We'll just have a quick look at it. We'll go around the back. It'll only be a short video. You know, we're not going to be doing any demented kangaroo jumping up and down left to right or rocks, because we haven't got any anyway. Because as I said, your man with the false hip, he'll break it, his pacemaker will explode and his teeth will fall out if he starts doing all that. Because they're videos to show you that this bike will do that, but them kind of guys are can ride any bike. The other thing, it's just got the charger plug there, and this one comes with the, it's got the seat with it, like the bigger tank included with it, and it's still got a brand new mudguard coming with it as well. So before you see Steve on this, I'll just give you some idea. So 23 with a couple of hours, but not been on mud, apart from you just seen it on there. It's £3,000. Now when you think at the moment I'm looking at having my billets made for 750 quid. These are 250 quid, an airbox of a sort, sorry, an exhaust made for mine, which are hundreds of pounds to wrap round the airbox. You just think to yourself, there's nearly £2,000 before I even start. So yeah, £3,000 for sale in here, as long as it's not a rainy day. Anyone's welcome to come and try it, as long as they want really, and see if it suits you. But my own personal opinion is, you just can't knock it for what it is. And I think every single time when I had mine, not as clean as that. So right, so let's see Steve, move on, and we'll come back in and have another quick chat, and then I'll get out your way on Tenaci Wong's. Right then, so here we go. We've got Steve Kirkwood in. Morning, Steve.
Morning.
Right, he's just going to have a quick look round this. A visual inspection first. Now, the last time Steve had a go on one of these was about 2019, and that was a new bike. Remember, this is a 23. So he's just going to have a quick peep round it. We won't say much, and then we'll get it outside and let him get on it. Certainly got the finish, haven't they, Steve, on certain things? You don't think it's Chinese as such, would you?
Value for money.
Yeah, so, you know, us to the right person, that's what we're doing the video for. We're not looking at the past, which people have gone up skyscrapers on them. We're looking for the bike, what's it like in our opinion. So let's get it outside and give it a quick spin. Right, so Steve's off it now. We'll just give it a start up again.
Very pokey, very thirsty for a 200. Enjoyable to ride. Footrest positions could go a little bit further back. Not a major problem for
Shock absorber.
Shock could do with maybe adjusting, maybe a bit more play on it.
Yeah.
More travel.
Brakes.
Brakes spot on. Brakes are really good.
Build quality.
Got a lot of quality for money. Value for money.
I think that's the word. It is actually got the plates and the chassis number, so I think it could be registered probably as well. So going back, Steve rode my 2019 when I first bought it. This is a 23, but never been used. So on the bit we're getting back to is, Steve, who do you think this bike seriously would suit?
Well, any older guy that's just wanting a ride round without spending mega money.
Advantages of electric start.
Yeah, electric start, good brakes, good suspension for that sort of bike. Clubman B, lower Clubman B, certainly for the white route, for an older boy that doesn't want to quit riding.
It's a bit whippy, isn't it, when you come off?
Yeah, it is.
Carburation to fuel injection of any bike is, but it does catch you, doesn't it, at first?
Yeah, it is pokey. Ideal for anybody that wants to chuck on the long range tank and go for a ride on a Sunday afternoon through the woods in Forestry, and turn it into a trials bike for a day with a trial.
Yeah.
So it's got best of both worlds, really.
Big difference on the startup and the revving out to mine.
Yeah.
Cleaner, sounds through it. It certainly doesn't sound like a 200. I've ridden a 150 as well. There's a few nice bits on it, isn't there?
I love the disc guard. That could, well, it protects the bottom of the fork and all the discs. That's great. A lot of modern bikes.
And the swinging arm, if I had one made like that with the shock absorber swing shock, I'd be well happy, wouldn't I, for TLRs?
That's It's just they missed a trick with the moving the footrest a little bit. So
Yeah, I think it's a different frame, and I think the new one, as the new model, has the fuel electronic pump, water pump on it. But apart from that, it's what it is, isn't it? But you can't knock it on build quality, I don't think. I think it really is, and that's what brings people to it. The name throws people off as well, I think.
Well, everybody's going Chinese these days.
Yeah.
That's to come. All
Yeah.
the electric cars are all Chinese.
Good engine, quiet in it, super quiet is the engine.
But the power's there when you want it.
Yeah, so overall, pretty good. So let's have a look now.
If all the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise their toast. All of the queens who are fighting alone, baby, you're not dancing on your own. You live without me, you wanna, but you can't. It's funny, but honey, honey's so on your own. I can feel my body shake, there's only so much I can take. I'll show you how a real queen behaves.
Right, we're back in the workshop again. We saw Steve there having a run on it and a general talk on it. I think that was an honest opinion. The great thing is, you know, you can, any of these modern machines, or we're talking price and just going through the review on it, you know, your Scorpers and anything else with electric starts, these alternatives, and we know that. We're just doing an open review. And I think what'll happen is, at the end of the day, the kind of man who buys this, I mean, in my opinion, he'll be able to buy this. All he'll need in his workshop, so he'll be able to get rid of all his Whitworth and AS bloody spanners, get rid of all jars and nuts and bolts and up in Nescafe screw up things on his shelf, get rid of his oil spill kit off the floor. He'll end up with a 24, a 22, tin of spray, every birthday, put a bit of good quality oil in it, even to the point to change it. You don't even have to take the oil, you don't even have to, it's just straight on, straight out. Spanner foot chain, a little Allen key, undo, join the squidgy widgy club with one of these things, throw it back in to save spares, leave someone against operating spares and got a fair bit of knowledge on them, will look after you, and your disc pads and everything else, and keep you updated, so I won't worry about anything. And the right man, that's the thing. So I hope you've liked this one. Just before we go, I'm going to show you, because while Steve was in, if you watch any of the other videos, as you know, my TLRs, I've just done this one for customers, another one coming in next week. So we've had one of our head transplants on, our performance heads, on TLR 200s, because as you are probably aware, in the raw state, as a trail bike, they handle like a brick wall, and the power factor was like a turtle with asthma. So this transforms it. So I'll show you a video of me when we've just put rings in it and round the back, if you haven't seen it. That was a couple of days ago. And then yesterday Steve told me that he'd also have a go on it while he was here. So when he got off this, he just had to go around the back again. Again, we're looking for low down and then on the power, which we do like these. So have a look at them videos, see what you think of them. And once again, you know, I think if you buy this bike, it's £3,000. £3,000. Amazing for the build quality. Welcome to come and have a go on it. There won't be any more. I don't think it's just fluke. The story's about I had one in 19, we've gone to 23, and that's the truth with it. But you're welcome to play on it as long as you want. And just after we did the video with Steve, a customer come in of a young man who now rides big British irons. He also rides TLRs and he rides mountain bikes. And he had a go on it. And after he come in, while he was here, another guy come in and he had a go on it. So they're just open view people, and they all said the same thing. It's unreal for what it is and the build quality. So Scarborough, North Yorkshire, 01723 370 399. Hope you like that one, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.